Hello everyone, Andrew of Fixology, and today I finally have a modern device. I have an iPhone XS that is I guess the slightly better version of the standard X versions of the Generation 10s. It has a bad microphone on it, which unfortunately that part cannot just be replaced by itself, so you have to replace the entire charging port flex, which is it's not hard. I would per se, it's just very tedious. I would say it's probably something if you're not experienced with taking apart a lot of little screws in the correct order. I wouldn't recommend doing it. I'd recommend either finding somebody who's experienced with it or bringing it to the professionals. Like your U-Brick FX, Battery Pluses, CPRs, Assurions, whatever it may be. I'd recommend going to them instead. I will do my best to explain what I'm doing and showing what I'm doing. And then I do have my project mat here, my little magnetic bag, so I'm going to have them organized so you can sort of see how I'm at least organizing my my screws. So first things first, with every device, I did put it on the hot plate, my hot pad, for about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes or so. The longer the better, and it will never hurt anything because you just set it to like about 75, 80 Celsius, which is about 160 Fahrenheit. Shouldn't cause any damage to anything internally. And that means then the first thing we got to remove is the pentalobe screws, which that is the one screwdriver I forgot to grab. So let me grab one real quick. There you are. All right. So the pentalobes are a unique thing to the iPhones. They're on the bottom here, right next to where the charging port is. So right in these bottom part here, there's two of them, and they're always the first screws you take out. Always the biggest indicator. If somebody says that there's been tampering with it, or if you're wondering if they've worked on it, take a look at these guys. If there's any sort of tampering or if they're missing, it's a good indicator that somebody's already worked on it. So I should put those guys right up here. And then we are going to do my standard technique of opening the said device. Now this one I've already looked at, so the adhesive is going to be a little weaker than normal because I already looked at it and opened it up to confirm that there was any sort of like damages to the device or anything like that. The excesses are a little tight when it comes to the frame and the screen, so you're going to have to really be careful when you wiggle your Isesimo tool in there, or your opener tool, whatever you use. Once you do get it in, I just realized my alcohol bottle is missing. Where the heck did that go? Hello? I had one. Wonder where I put it. Oh, it's over on my other desk. Why? I don't know. Oh, that's not it. All right, I'll grab mine from my mobile toolbox. There we go. I know some people say that my videos are like chaotic, like he doesn't know what he's doing. It's like, no, I know what I'm doing. It's just I don't always have what I need on hand. So, and this bottle happens to be empty at the same time. So, I'm super organized today. And naturally, I spill a little bit of alcohol on the desk because I don't have a pour spout on this thing. So, well, luckily it is just isopropylene, so it evaporates really fast. It doesn't really leave much of a residue. So, all right. So back to what I was saying. We'll do my normal technique opening is I will start at the bottom, get a portion pried up, then I will take a guitar pick and get it up in there. There we go. Put a little alcohol on the edge so it gets nice and lubricated and makes the adhesive nice and loose. And then I'm going to gently just work my way around. And then also the same on the other side. Nice and easy. Not putting the pick too far in because I don't want to risk hitting anything. And then I will do the same on the outside. Yeah. So I got that loose. And then the last thing I do is the top here. I put a little alcohol on the top. Oh, and these bottles I just get off of Amazon. I think it's just like dispenser bottle or something like that, like 3-ounce squeeze bottle. I don't know. It comes with this nice little tip though, which is very useful for precise applications. And then the excess is open from the right. So you just open it up like this, and there we go. And, oh yeah, this is the one where a screw went missing in it. I took a screw off to check it something, and it just flung off because this had pressure on it, so that little part down there is missing one screw, but as long as it stays down, it'll be fine because it just got to hit against this little golden tab here. Anyway, next step I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the cover that is holding the battery connector in place, because we need to disconnect the battery so that way we can safely work on the device. And then as you can see how I'm doing it, how I do mine is I like to put them in separate squares for each step that I take, and then I'll put them in the order that I take them out. So if you look up here, I have, I gotta drop it down just a little bit more. There we go. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which are following in the exact order of the shield that they push down. And then what I'll do is I will remove said shield. And then I'll put it down next to it so I can see how it's lined up and everything. Next, I will disconnect the battery connector, which is this guy right here. Boop. Battery connector is disconnected. And then what I'm going to do is, since this one is a little more intensive, I am going to disconnect the screen fully. That way I don't run the chance of the screen flying off somewhere or me ripping a flex. Especially this one, because if I ruin this one, then the Face ID no longer works because there's components in the Face ID that come off of this whole flex. And I can get new parts for it, but I can't get the Face ID ever to work because that's some software stuff. So I am not going to be running that risk. The back there. Alright, and that's the screen off. I'll continue, if I ever get a screen replacement, I'll finish doing the rest of that and show you what else we do then with that. But alright, so the charging port, if I remember correctly, comes up from underneath here. So it's this connector here, and it goes all the way down this way. So it's a real big pain in the butt. So I need to remove the battery, and then I also need to elevate the motherboard high enough where I can then use it, where I can then manipulate the flex underneath it. So this might be the first video where I'm going to actually cut to certain points, because it will get really tedious, and I don't think people want to hear me swear for, you know, potentially an hour, hour and a half while I get this taken care of. But I'll do my best to describe what I am doing, which right now is I'm just disconnecting all of the connectors that go onto the board. There we go. And then with that, I will need to remove the SIM card because I need to move said board. All right. That one's good, that one's good, that's there, that's there. Okay, so we get this guy up top. This guy to the right. And then in the corner of it, which that is actually a Phillips. Which Apple loves to do this. They love to put multiple different styles in to prevent you from wanting to work on it. But that doesn't stop us, does it? I'm going to disconnect the cameras. And now that shield will come right off. There we go. Oh! And the cameras should want to come out as well. Or at least, I can at least pull these to the side so I can remove the motherboard. And yes, I am using the tool a whole way. Some people like to use their fingernails and stuff like that, and that's okay, but I feel with the tool, you can be a little more precise on it, and you're not going to run the risk of damaging anything. All right, so I got that all taken apart there, which is great. Pull this all to the side, out of the way. And now the cameras should be coming out. Yep, cameras. And I'm keeping them facing down because I don't want any dust to get onto it. And the magnet board is such a low magnet that you can put it directly on. It's not going to cause any damages. If you want to be safe, though, you can put it on top of the shield, or if you want to put it on like a microfiber or something plastic, whatever. I'll probably give that a clean up. I think that's actually on the outside. Yeah, it's on the outside. All right. So I got that out, So now, next step is going to be removing the screws for the actual board, which there's one here, right where the ground is, and then one over on the side here, and that is a unique one. That is a standoff screw, which again, I thought I had, but luckily it's right next to me, so I'm trying to grab this guy. The standoff screw is weird. I'm hoping I can get this to focus, but if you look at it, it's got a small little tip on it, and then 4 wing points. That's because these standoff screws allow you to mount stuff on top of them. In this case, this would be where a shield would sit, but it's also a mounting one. Woo, fell right inside. It's okay. Power's off, so I'm not going to cause an arc or anything like that. But it is a weird looking screw, that's for sure. Yeah, kind of weird little guy, but it does its purpose. Put that to the side so I know that one's on the right, one's on the left. And now, if I am correct, it should be loose enough to pry up. Yes. Oh, wait, sorry. One more screw. It was hidden by the flex, I couldn't see it. And these are all differently sized, so you can't intermingle them like the Samsungs, unfortunately. Okay. Now, it should be, I believe, just the camera's just clipped in the top here. There it is. These are your selfie cameras, which you don't have to fully remove. It's not the end of the world. But this guy does have a little clip you'll need to attach to. So that's got a clip that'll go right down here. But now the board should pop right off. Oh, sorry, forgot about these 2 connectors down here. Luckily, charging ports don't really go bad that often, so you don't have to do this repair too much. Come on. You're supposed to disconnect. Thank you. There we go. Alright, and yes, I was using tweezers there. Again, I advise normally not using against metal, that kind of stuff, but in that situation, I needed something with a little more oomph, a little more hold on it. And then that is the entire motherboard for the iPhone XS. They double, the reason why it's so small is because they double layered it, so you have components on both sides of it. So it's a lot smaller than like your old style ones. Again though, very expensive, so you gotta be careful with it. And again, since this magnet pad is so weak, I can get away with putting it on top of it without any damaging. So I'm just gonna put it right here next to its screws. So it's right up there, no worries. All right, so then the next step is I do need to remove the battery. Or sorry, I need to do the bottom portion here. That way I can get all these screws out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to skip this square, but go right to the next one. And I'm going to just start unscrewing. So I know all these ones down here are all part of the same one, if I remember correctly. Yes. So all along here. And again, I'll be zooming this in the editor because I figured out how to do it, so I'm so proud of myself for that. This one is a little stuck. Oh yeah, this one got stuck in a standoff screws, so that one's a little weird, unfortunately. I don't know why. Sometimes that happens. I don't know, maybe it has something to do with the Loctite. A lot of these have Loctite on them, so they're not supposed to be technically renewed or reused. You're supposed to replace the screw every time, but obviously it's just a screw, so you can get away with doing it. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so we're gonna pull this up. It's gonna go here. And then I need to take this little shield off right here. That's going to have the connector for, I believe, the vibrator? Or the Taptic engine, as they like to call it. So now this should just pop right out. Oh, I've got to finesse it just a little bit, though. And naturally, there's always something more, so I'm going to take these screws out too, just seeing if it loosens anything. Now, the key here is there should be anything holding it down, but it looks like there still is. I'm not sure what. They've done this repair in so long. Rusty. Alright, so that's the Taptic engine connector. Alright, so I just gotta wiggle it out a little bit. Oh, it's because of this. Yeah, I remember this thing. There's this little, like, rubber piece. Maybe it's just to prevent from the metal rubbing against the battery. I'm not sure, but if everything's tight in here, I shouldn't have to worry about it, so I'm just going to get this off. Hopefully I remember to put it back in, otherwise it won't really matter. So I'm just going to put that right in the corner there so I don't forget it. Okay, and then I just got to pull. You're just stuck down here with a little adhesive, so I'm going to pull you up. Come on, come on. You know, put a little alcohol here. As long as it's not going inside the speaker, it'll be fine. And I am just going to quickly double check, make sure it's not connected anywhere. It is not. It's just the adhesive. Ah, there we go. It's that foam-based adhesive, so it's super strong, super resilient. I think that's what helps with its water resistance. So, but now I have the nice fun task of removing it. Otherwise it'll get gunked up inside the speaker. Just make sure this is all cleaned out too. There's that sucker. So once you remove the loudspeaker, there's one more connector at the bottom for the Taptic engine. There you go. That's your vibrator motor for everything that moves. And then this big black bastard right here, this is your whole charging port. And the microphone is that little gold spot right there. So now, let's see, we just gotta remove a couple more things, which I believe are all right here. So it looks like we gotta remove a couple standoff screws, which again, we'll use our standoff screwdriver, which you can source these all on like Google or Amazon, wherever your provider is for parts. They're not super expensive, so I wouldn't worry about them. Okay. There's that. That's just a little plastic piece that goes on top. And then, so I don't need this portion here, but this part over the top. And then it goes over to the right here. Actually, sorry, it goes, so it's just this part right here. So I believe I'm at the point where I can disconnect some things. Which, if I damage the charging port, it's not the end of the world because I am replacing it. No screwdrivers. Aha! That's what I was looking for. There are two screws actually right here at the base of the the charger, actually holding the port in stock. So right here and right there. So you're gonna have to do some funky angling. I know it's not the best to see, but you just gotta. These are one of the ones where you just kind of have to bear with it and do the best you can. This one's behind a flex, so it's really dumb position. Expect me to move the flex out of the way first somehow. There we go. And then remove this entire piece here. Perfect. There we go. All right. So if you pull on this little plastic piece here enough, it'll just rip. It'll just pop up. You can always put a little alcohol or heat it up again. That's your call. I just used a little bit of physics to break it. There we go. All right. So now everything is nice and loose. So now the only thing I gotta be careful about is that there is the button flex right here, which goes all the way up, down, blah, 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 all the way up to the top. So when I take it off, I just gotta be careful not hitting that. Otherwise, everything goes on top. I can just go right over the top without causing any damage. So I will be right back after I'm done heating it. So you guys don't have to wait 5 minutes of me just talking about nonsense. All right, and we are back, and I have heated it up. Now I'm going to remove the battery, which they have these nice little strips down here, which if they work perfectly, I can pull straight out and I'll pull the adhesive with it. The keyword is if. I have done these many, many times, and after the iPhone 7s, they changed to a different material, and it just sucks to remove. So it's just not fun. I'm gonna have to try it with a different technique though if I can't get this to come out. Ah! Okay, all right. Oh, yep, that's what happens. The tag just rips right off every time. The adhesive it's strong, but it's thin. So when you try to do anything to it, it just gives up on life. And I'm working over the charging port flex, but that's fine because I'm replacing it. So it doesn't matter if I break it or if I cut it or something like that. Obviously, I want to try to not do it. All right, here we go. So I got a nice, good piece here. See how it's coming out? All nice in one piece. Nice and easy. Just going back and forth, nice and easy. So I don't know why they changed this style. The other stuff was thicker, but it was more stretchy, so you could get away with doing more to it. Maybe because it's just that much thinner. Or maybe it has something to do with the NFC transmitter, because on the 8s, that's when they had the antenna on the back for the wireless charging and the data transfer. The 7s don't have those. 7s and older. There we go. So that's one out. And that one broke as well. This is going to be the most tedious part of the whole freaking video. I mean, if it works, this is technically faster. The key word is if it works. And I'm sure it looks great from a video standpoint, like seeing my fingers just going at it on here. One of the tags ripped off again. And there's the other one. Okay, so we are 1 and 1. Let's try it on this guy now. Where's the hole? There it is. There's a little hole here that you can stick through it, but it's so weak that as soon as you try to pull on it, it just snaps through the middle, so it's kind of almost pointless to go through. Also, I realized if I had little sharper tweezers, these ones are pretty blunt, I wouldn't have this problem. Okay, here we go. Got both of them out. Ah! You saw it just sucker itself back in. Alright, so we're going to do it the fun way, which is me getting my little pry tool here. Getting underneath it, nice and easy. And then while it's pried up, just putting a little bit of alcohol on the backside. Loosen everything up. And then I can just start going through nice and easy with my bigger spudger here. You just got to be real careful because there is that this black piece right here which goes all the way around. That's the NFC part and the wireless, so you just got to be careful that you don't nick it. There we go. And luckily the top came off perfectly. I don't have to worry about that one, so that's nice. So there is your... So I mean, I guess that would be... I guess a kind of a showing off if you have to replace the battery for it as well. Obviously, you don't have to take this all out if you need to. You don't take any of that, but you just got to work it up, and then once you pull it out, this is all it is. So I'll take the old adhesive off, and I'll apply new stuff to it. I like to do everything as I go along with it. Some people might some people might take care of this off screen or whatever, but and if you leave a little bit, it's so thin, it honestly doesn't really matter. So, put all my garbage into one little bowl. Put the battery to the side. And now, since it's still kind of warm, I'm going to move all these. I'm going to pull from over here. There we go. And it's just going to go nice, down, nice and easy. Make sure I'm not pulling anything else with it, because I do not want to replace any of these other flexes. I don't have them, and my customer expects this tonight. There you have it. That is the charging port all the way out, and the problem guy is this little gold guy right here. That microphone is just not cooperating. When you would record anything off it, you would hear just white noise the whole time. So something must have gotten up in it and gotten wet, which it's not. It's not uncommon, you know. I think it's their kids, so they're like 13 or something like that. So always running around, getting into the mischief, the usuals. Okay, now the only thing left I gotta do is I gotta take it off with this plastic piece here, which I believe has some clips to hold it in place. So I gotta get something with a sharper point. Yeah, these ones have a little sharper point to them. These little silver pieces are tabs. So now if I pull out, there we go. And I need this piece still, which I think I can just put it back into place anyways. So let's put that right back in there. All right. Old charging port out. And I guess I could have Frankensteined this to at least test the new microphone. I didn't think I had, unfortunately, this time. Because what you can do is just disconnect it from that main connect on the motherboard itself, and then you can still use it that way. But I wasn't thinking. It happens. Oh well. Alright, new one. Take any of the stickers off that are in the way, which there's one right, this yellow guy right here doesn't want to come off. Oh, there it goes, it fell off. All right. So I'm going to angle it up so it will go, actually, you know what, I'm just going to do it this way. So I'm just going to take it directly and push it on, which sits pretty nicely. It's a little bit loose, so I'm just going to push down on those little crimp points so it holds it in place. Yep. And then this has got a little cover over the top of it. Don't know what sensor this is, but all I do know is that, well, the clamps on don't want to sit in place. Oh well, not the other one. But what I do know is that it just needs to go over you and into the hole on that little plastic piece that we pulled out. So it just goes over the top of the microphone. Oop. Now you got to remember, these are aftermarket parts, so they're not perfect, but they do work. So you just have to, you got to fiddle with them just a little. There you go. And then angle that down a little more. No. Come on. Ugh. Just doesn't want to stay in. Being so difficult right now. Stay. And then what I'm going to do, because this is super annoying, is I'm going to screw this piece first in, because I need it to pull all the way through. So man. Bend that out of the way real quick. Come on. Just realized I still have my hot plate on. Don't really want that. It's getting a little warm in here. There we go. All right. One in. And since it's a screw, it'll just pull everything through. And then it lines it up with all these as well. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to put this there. Try to align this around. Just give it a little pinch. Well, once I put something behind it, it'll hold it in place. That won't be a problem. All right. Now I need to remove all the stickiness, the sticky stuff. So these are just all the covers for it. Sometimes the adhesive is nice, sometimes it's not. Depends where you get it from. Alright, and then I need to move this out of the way. Alright, this is gonna be fun. There we go. All right. Right up tight against the edge. Wherever I want it. Oh. That piece needs to go back in. That is for the SIM card tray, so that needs to go back in here. That never falls out. Why you gotta do it now, man? Why you gotta be a pain in the butt? There we go. All right. So that's pushed in. Make sure that's following that. That goes there. And then it was pushed up right nicely up in here. That guy likes to stay out, so that's interesting. Oh. Well then, that can't be good. Well, let's just hope nothing happened from that one. I think I might have just damaged something else, I'm not sure. Well, we'll find out. I know I sound blasé about it, but if something did get hit, I can't really control it at this point, so most I can do is apologize and then fix it once the part comes in. Anyway, alright, so I got all that in. So we are going to now put back in these pieces. So I'm going to go backwards, the steps I made, which I do this a lot so I remember where most of the stuff goes. Ugh. Even if it doesn't want to go where I want it to. If you're new to it, I'd recommend labeling it. Or you can always take pictures. Pictures are never a bad thing. Seriously? Magnetizer, super useful tool. Oh, come on. Okay, so that's in. Connect the flex for the Taptic engine. Alright, that one's gone. That one fell all the way down, so. Thought I could use Big Spudger, can't. There you are. There we go. Listening for that click. And not the boom kind. One of the screws on the left-hand side. Two of them in. Sorry, it's a little out of frame for that. But I connected the connector for that Taptic engine, for the vibrator. And I put two screws right over here, these two. And then I will take the speaker, slot it back into place, pull the connector for the speaker over the top, sink it in. And this was the one that had that tiny little cover. So I'll make sure it's the right way, which most of the time it's when it's got this black little insulate material on it, that's always face down. I have never seen it face up, unless it's actually adhesive and I just pulled something off of it. And you go right in the middle here. And then I'll straighten it out a bit. You can always pull it through. Goody goody. And then I'll use this time right now to take that weird plastic piece we had last time, and I'm going to put it back down on here. That's if it wants to stay there. Sometimes they don't. Okay, now we put this back in here. And since this has the sorry, the words I'm looking for right now. Since it has a standoff screw stuck to that screw for some reason, I don't need to worry about taking it apart. So I just screw that one in, and this is the one that was missing a screw. But as long as when this sits down, it sits that portion on the screen, that's all that matters, and it has been because it's still got the rub marks on it. I got tools all over. Speaking of which, if you guys, I don't know if anybody who watches it wants to see what tools I use. I mean, you obviously see them here, and I talk about some of them, but if you want to see my full set, either my in-home setup or my portable set, or both, you know, I could do a video on each one. Just, you know, let me know. Send me a message or throw it down in the comment section, because we all know I'm so popular down there. Alright. Now, we have the fun process of putting the motherboard back into place. Which is fun, but not, because you have to do a bunch of little things to it. Like get all these flexes out of the way, because they're super annoying. Something preventing this from going down, but what is it? Oh, I see. Seriously. I mean, it's... The 10 design, they just... I don't know what they were thinking when they made this thing. There's so much crap in one little area. The 11s are much easier to work on. Granted, they have the same style of motherboard, but it seems like they did something to make it easier to work on. Go back up there. Thank you. Stop. I knew this one would be a pain. They always are. There we go. Alright. Connector in. Okay. And now I gotta do the connectors at the top here that are right behind the camera. So these ones are super big pain. One. Oh wow, they actually cooperated with me this time. Nice. There we go. Nice thing about at least these flexes is that they all kind of fit in one area. You can't really stretch them out to go anywhere else. Just gotta sink these guys back underneath into their little home. Whoops. No, I don't. Oh, wait, no, that's right. Ah, boy. Why? There we go. Alright. Now attach it. Attach you. Attache. Which I know it doesn't mean attach in any in whatever stupid ass language I'm talking about. Where? Man, what are you caught on? Nothing. There's nothing here holding you. Ugh. Except for maybe yourself. And also funny enough fact is charging ports, since you have to remove so much of it, they do have the highest comeback rates because something goes wrong. Because you literally disconnect almost everything just to get to it. Actually, you do disconnect pretty much everything. Yeah, you disconnect everything. At least from the board itself. Alright. So I got that in. Gonna put this little guy in here. There's a little part that clips in. It like hooks right over here. And that is a screw down that's holding that in place. So we get my standoff. So I'm going to screw that down. And you are the only ground one, so that with the gold there, so that makes that super easy. And then that one's the only part above it, so that would go right here. Oh, didn't mention this the first time, but there's a little piece here on top that can sometimes go missing. Make sure you find that. I've done them where it goes missing. It doesn't seem to cause anything that I can see, but that doesn't mean that there's not problems. I just can't see them. Okay, rear-facing cameras, which are the big guys. These are expensive. That dual setup runs like anywhere from like 50 to 60 bucks just for the parts, so recommend not breaking them or losing them. Shield will only go one way. And since I have these lined up in only one way, I'll put them back that same direction. That one's just for the, I think just for the frame. Do that. And that will have a little wiggle. Oh, that was a Phillips. I was using a tri-point on it. Like I said, they use so many different styles, it's just a pain sometimes. Alright, and now I'm not going to fully adhese it in because I want to test everything, but I am going to at least slot it into position so I can easily connect the battery. But I will attach the screen first because I don't want power running while I attach the screen. Don't want to risk the chance of a short. Alright. So part of the Face ID, the screen itself, and then do that. Alright, everything is nice and secured again. Well, mostly. Now I'm going to check it. Why is that backwards? That's weird. Oops. USB sign up, and the 10s are the Lightning port, so they are not the USB-Cs. All right, we are looking for a little over 1 amp draw. Oh, okay, so it turns on. Good, that's a good sign. There we go. 1.1, 1.6, 1.5. 1.6, 1.5, that is right where we need it to be. And then it's going to fluctuate a lot as it boots up. Ooh, I should have cleaned out the top here for the guy. And then the code. There is a. Oh yeah, took out the SIM card. Alright, so we got good pull. Let's check the cameras. Oh, yep, I know. What do you mean no SIM available? Where? Ooh. Oh, that's because it's not fully seated, I forgot. Back cameras are looking alright. Ooh, those are dirty. I'll clean those off for them. That's good. Alright. SIM card is acting weird. Which is weird because I didn't do anything with SIM card except remove the card itself. Detecting Wi-Fi, so that's good. Cellular. And something might not be tight against it too. I can always double check that when I put everything back together. Face ID. And this is why these things are so sketchy. Oh boy. Well, I'm gonna go to the app where I can actually double check the. There it is, voice. Even though I can't spell, but. Testing, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. Testing, 1 2 3. Testing, 1 2 3. Hey, there we go. All right, so it's back to normal. That's good. But now I don't know why the Face ID and that didn't start working. Might be because I don't have everything fully cinched down. I'll have to just reconnect everything. But for the most part, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to finish putting it back together, which would just be putting the shield back on, so not super difficult. And then I'll be right back to do a quick outro. Quick little sidebar is I'm using my Tessa tape. I don't have any like the preformed ones, which this works just as fine, and it's not super as much of a pain to get off if you need to do more work on it again. So just do a little healthy amount on the battery itself. Move everything to the side. I have the screen off again just so I don't cause any damages to it. And then you clip the excess. Nice and easy. Alright, be right back. Alright, so I have it all back together. Shield is back on. I did reconnect all the connectors, and it was just the Apple identification face, whatever. It was just some of the connectors were loose, which, you know, that happens a lot, so. Because they just don't go back together the same way. So now I'm just doing the finishing touches. And I think I might try and... Ooh. Oh, it's not warm. Okay, I thought it was warm. I don't know if I'm going to put this as one big video or as 2 parts. It's going at like about 50 minutes. Which honestly, for this repair, I did it in under an hour. So, yes, there were a couple cuts, but I can promise you it was... One of them was for the heating, obviously, and then one of them was just for me putting it back together and rechecking. So maybe an hour for everything, which most places are going to tell you like 2 to 3. So I feel very happy about this, and that's all good. Got the cellular working, the microphone worked, you heard that, and it is all set. I'm going to give it a quick cleanup because there's some crud all over the place, and that's just because I want the customer to have a clean device when they get it back. Anyways, thanks for watching, and if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, or if you are interested in getting something fixed, contact me and we will work out something. Either if you're local, I will be more than happy to meet you out somewhere, or if you want to consider mailing it to me, I'm okay with that too. For now, have a good one.